Hello and welcome. If you are new here, my name is Michelle Nichols. I'm a photographer based out of Boise, Idaho, and I specialize in editorial portraits and also teaching others how to take beautiful photographs, and I'm so happy you're here. And today we are talking about the most important thing when you get in photography, and that is understanding lighting. Before we can talk about posing or camera settings or anything like that, we need to understand basic lighting at least. And so what I'm going to be talking about today mainly applies to natural light photography and shooting outdoors. So if that's something you're interested in, let's get into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about with light is temperature of light. And you probably have heard the term golden hour, and if you haven't, golden hour is 2 hours before sunset. This is the most ideal time of day to photograph in. The sun is low in the sky, it's warm, it's soft, it just lays beautifully across any skin tone, and it's going to be the most flattering light. Now you can photograph in the morning because again it's going to be softer light because the sun isn't going to be directly in the sky, but it's still going to be colder because it's just morning light. Morning light is a little bit colder, so you can't shoot in that. The hardest time of the day is to photograph in the afternoon, and we'll talk about why in our next step. Tip number 2 with lighting is direction of light. When I'm talking about direction, I'm literally talking about where is your light source coming from. So the reason the afternoon is difficult to photograph in is because which direction is your light source coming from? It's coming straight from above onto your subject, which means it casts harsh shadows under the eyes, under the nose, and under the chin, and that's not flattering for most people, but especially for women. You don't want harsh shadows unless you're going for a really intentional shot, which we're not talking about today. So generally speaking, with natural light, your direction is going to come from 3 directions: the front, the side, or the back. And a really easy tip to figuring out where your light source is coming from is just walking outside, putting your hand up right up to your face, and looking where the shadows are falling. Is it all in shadow? That means you're backlit. Is it leaking across the side? Your side light. If it's all bright and no shadows at all, you've got front light. The best light to photograph in is 2 hours before sunset because it's nice and warm, and backlit. So that means the light source is coming behind your subject and your whole subject is clear. Their face is just free, there's no light leaks, there's no harsh shadows on the face, it's just beautiful, even lighting. And lighting tip number 3 is the quality of light, which means basically the size of the light. The bigger the size of the light, the softer that light is going to be. So obviously the sun is one of our biggest, softest light source. That's why natural light photography is so appealing to so many photographers, because it's just naturally a beautiful way to photograph people. With that said, think about the reverse, like a flashlight, how narrow that light is and how harsh that light is. If you use any kind of flash or indoor photography or anything like that, naturally that light is going to be a lot harsher because it's more direct and it's a smaller size. So if you're in like an alleyway and the light's coming in at just a slit of an opening, that's going to be harsher light. It's going to be cool, dramatic, but just know it's not going to be this overexposed, beautiful, soft light. Now, an extra bonus tip for you is if you have to photograph in the afternoon or the morning and the light isn't like the most ideal, my biggest trick is to get into shade. Get into full shade, whether that's a building or a really thick tree where there's not a lot of light leaks coming through. You're going to want to put your subject in there, and then automatically you have even lighting. You don't even have to worry about the direction or the quality of light. You just have to worry about the warmth mainly. And it is going to usually be colder when you put them in shade. Just naturally, when you take away light, you're going to obviously have colder light. My last little lighting bonus tip for you is invest in a reflector. That is going to be your next cheapest option, other than obviously no lighting equipment at all. It's really cheap, and this is what I do to fill in shadows, basically. Because this is, if you've never seen a reflector, it's a giant circle, and no one ever knows what it is unless they're a photographer. So what you're going to do with this mainly is if your light source is behind your subject, I as the photographer will bring it right in front of me. Whew, I don't have enough room here. I need to go outside and film a video, and I will. And then my subject's in front of me, and I'm over my reflector shooting this way, and what that does is that sun comes in, hits the reflector, and pushes that light back into the subject. I use this reflector when my light source is behind the subject, and also when I'm trying to put them in full shade, like against that building or against a lot of thick trees and it's a little dark in there, because sometimes what happens, even though it's even lighting all over the face, that you don't get that little catch light, which is that white little spot in their eye that makes them look alive and bright. that goes away when you put them in shade. So if I can do this and get that white catch light in their eye, it makes them instantly look awake and amazing and alive, and it's one of the tricks I've always used and I love. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed those 3 lighting tips. That's what I think about every time before I go out on a shoot. And if you would like a checklist of everything we talked about today, just so you can print with you or take to a shoot, I have the link down below for you to get that free download. And then please comment below any other questions you have about lighting, specifically natural light, because that's what this video is about and that's what I specialize in. But yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts. I really do like connecting with you guys, so please leave me your feedback below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!